Welcome back to this week's episode of Zero to Fuel Tycoon, a series in which I attempt to go from zero ISK until becoming a known entity for fuel production in EVE Online. So if we look at the metrics for our company, Ardco, we can see that the last week has been very productive for us. Our wallet balance sits at 2.8 billion and the assets at 3.6. This gives us a total net worth of 6.5 billion for the corporation. For my character, we can see that after I stopped having the fuel blocks myself with the big dip, we can see that it's finally starting to move upwards again with the trading. I'm currently sitting at 2.5 billion in total net worth, where 1.5 of that is in assets. You can see I have about 400 million in buy orders and about 365 in sell orders, and with a wallet balance of 65 million. And the recruitment for the corporation is going very well. Since the last time, we have the alts of Gahoon joining, the heart of Gahoon and the eyes of Gahoon. We have Penser 9972, who is the main character of the PI alts. And then we have two new members in Warlord, Dagon, and Darkrak. And of course, we have Captain Thor One Awesome, who is now a director in Ardco. And he is the main character of several, I think it's 5 alts in total, who has been in Ardco before. Now it's finally official that we have a director for Ardco. And last week we detailed some of the big fuel block projects that we had. We had the 80k fuel blocks that we'd had for a while, and we had a more recent 50k helium fuel block. And I'm happy to announce that both of them have been fulfilled. Corporation has been hard at work. I have focused a lot on the oxygen. Thor, our new director, was sitting on quite a lot. And we also have one member, Matasian Galliantes, who has been working really hard and has been doing really well, produced many fuel blocks, and I think made about 500 million in pure profits so far. I've been very impressed by him. He's been showing a lot of initiative. So the 50k fuel block order we managed to sell, and that gave us 1.1 billion ISK. We're currently in talks to finalize the delivery of the 80k large fuel block order. It's a bit of a tricky because we have to transport it across New Eden, but hopefully we can get it done this week. So like I said, the corporation has been doing really well this week. Here we have the stockpile levels for last week. And it was especially the helium in green and the oxygen in yellow that we needed to make an effort, and we very much did. We almost hit 100k helium blocks before the sale, and the oxygen we increased by about 20k in just a week. So I can feel that we're starting to get a bit of a production capability now with the new members coming in. We still don't know exactly where our levels are at, but it feels like we might soon actually be able to handle the large 80k order. Maybe not on a weekly basis, but every other week. I have to watch it closely and see how it develops. So we had a couple of weekly goals from last week, and it was, of course, to finish the fuel block goal, to continue with the recruitment, and to set up the weekly mining ops. We handled the first two, the fuel block goal completed, and then we continued the recruitment. The weekly mining ops, we're still voting for days for the EU and the US time zone. And that vote will continue for another week. So hopefully by the next episode, we'll be able to start making the plans for setting up the weekly mining ops. And we've had some interest in people becoming mining foremen. So again, hopefully we can maybe have one or two who take on the responsibility for the next episode. So just a little bit of a recap of what I intend the mining foreman to be, and it's essentially a mining officer. And these guys, so they will be flying industrial command ships, the Porpoise or the Orca. The Porpoise is not ideal for ice mining because you can't do ice compression for some reason. You can do ore or gas, I think, but it will still provide a mining boost for the other miners. And of course, the Orca can do everything. And the responsibilities of the mining foreman will be to be in charge of the mining fleets, to form the fleets, helping new players getting settled in, make sure that everything goes smoothly. And with our weekly mining ops, we have a bit of a problem that we are mainly interested in ice, and ice belts are a bit fickle. We can't always be sure that they will be up. As it looks right now, the nullsec one will be available most of the time. You can never know exactly when the ice belts will spawn if they have been depleted. Nullsec also has the variability that it's in a pretty volatile region of space, and there are a lot of roams going on. So we might not always be able to be out there. So I'm thinking a bit of if we can't do nullsec mining, then we look to the high-sec belts and see if we can do ice mining there. If those belts are not up, we'll see if the plenitude moon pull is currently going on. I don't know exactly what time of the week they do it. But if they overlap with our mining ops, we can go and help out with the moon pulls. And if that not is up, we can do regular asteroid mining. I would also like to have sort of a wildcard mining ops or ops in general, where we can do some gas mining, rare ores, shallow ice fields, or just some ratting or exploration. Something to break up the monotony a bit and do something different. And I think it would be good because I'm hoping that our members will have a bit of side projects going on, taking advantage of the low taxes. And in that case, we can get them some other materials that may be useful for their side projects. And we discussed this a little bit before, but I'm hoping to also have sort of a mining op for Ardco, where some of the proceeds of the mining operations goes directly to the corporation. And this is to provide liquidity for us. If we can have several income streams, we wouldn't be as reliant on the fuel blocks themselves, which means that we can increase the percentage that the refiners take from each fuel block. So we will essentially be buying the fuel blocks for 18K instead of 17K as we do now. Or we could maybe go up even higher if we make even more. But we won't be doing these until we have the Ardco API infrastructure set up. And the reason we want to wait for that is because with the API infrastructure, we can sort of get hold of the actual numbers, how much people are mining, how much they contributed. So we can get a bit of an overview and see who was in the mining ops and things like that. And then we could perhaps also have sort of leaderboards and have a bit of internal competition. And as I'm thinking right now, this will be like a monthly thing where it would replace one of the weekly mining ops, say. The one thing I don't want to do is make this like a strictly Ardco thing. I don't want everything that people mine to go into Ardco. And the reason I don't want to do it like that is because we are a pretty decentralized corporation where we don't contribute anything really to people's ships, equipment, or materials they might need. So therefore, I still want to make, even if it's an Ardco ops, I still want to make it so that the members get something out of it. And the split I'm envisioning would be one part goes to the corporation, one part goes to the mining foreman, and one part goes to the regular line members. Exactly how this split would be ordered, I don't know. We'll have to see once we get some of these regular mining ops up and running. We'll see roughly how much we're making from each of them. Then I can make a better decision for a fair price, or at least as fair as possible for everyone involved. And again, this is because the foreman will be using fuel for the command ships and they will be doing some extra work. So I feel like they should have a part, and also that the members don't just feel like it's slave labor, like they actually get a little bit back as well. So for me personally this week, after we completed the fuel block goals, I've taken a bit of break from fuel block production. I found a improved fit for the Vexor that I had from before, and I fitted it out, and I have started doing some Sisters of Eve missions. This is, by the way, your cue to check if it's time for you to do the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc. But this is the fit I'm using. It's probably not the most optimal. It can handle the Epic Arc, no problem. The final intention for this fit will be to handle the nullsec rats in the ice belts. And I think DPS-wise, I'm absolutely fine. The problem will be, am I fast enough and tanky enough to survive the rats? Will they be able to hit me? I have a feeling I'm not fast enough, but I'll have to try it out and see. But in order to use this fit, I've had to do a little bit of skill training. I finished the reprocessing 5 finally, and then I got into some of the skills related to the new Vexor fit. After this, I'm going into my broker relations training again. I'll finish this one off, and after that, I think I'll try and create a skill plan for jump freighters, and I sort of mix a bit of trading skills and jump freighter ones. It depends a bit how long the skills take. Another thing I have to keep in consideration when it comes to alts is that I've decided it is now time for me to make a couple of alts. So I will be making 2 alts to fill out my account. They will be used as sign alts for the jump freighters, as well as for planetary industry. And the idea I have with the planetary industry is not really so much to support my own fuel block production. I will probably move away from producing fuel blocks and let the members handle that. So what I'm thinking is maybe I can use my alts and my main character to produce some of the planetary material that makes up a lower cost of the fuel blocks. And then I can sell these in corp contracts at, say, 75% of JITA price back to the members. I'll do this so that the members can focus more on the big percentage items like the coolant and the robotics, and so that they can scale up their operation more. And then the profits from this I will put back into the corporation, which will give us another revenue stream. Of course, some people will argue, I should just sell it on the market and you'll make more. I think the members would enjoy having these materials for cheap, and I think them being able to produce more will just make their experience better. So for the coming week, the goals I've set for the corporation is to finalize the mining ops and to get 1 or 2 mining foremen. For the mining ops, as I mentioned, we want 1 for the US time zone and 1 for the EU time zone, and hopefully we can get the foremen for each time zone as well. The voting will be concluded this coming week, so if you are a member and you haven't voted, this is the time to go in and vote. I will also continue the recruitment. It would be nice to maybe get some people up in Galente, but I'm more and more leaning towards that we'll probably take in a corporation at some point in the future than doing singular recruitments, because it's hard to kind of sell it to someone. Yeah, you'll be sitting there alone until we get another member in. And there's also the fact that maybe it should finalize the Amar infrastructure, have a blueprint that we can then apply to Galente space. Because it's a bit hard because I'm already splitting my time between JITA and Amar. If I'm also going to throw in a Galente, I'll be running all over the place. And then, of course, we want to finish the big sale. It's essentially about transporting across New Eden and how we will solve that. But hopefully by the next episode, it'll be done. And I also want to thank everyone for the response we got to last week's video. It's the #1 performing video we have done. Gained over 50 subscribers. We have 400 something now, which is absolutely crazy. I have a feeling it was down to the length of it, because I made a conscious effort to try and make a bit of a longer video. But it could also be that just the title, that you guys like big numbers. As a viewer myself, I know that I like longer videos. So I'll do my best at trying to make the videos longer with not just adding stuff for the sake of it. Which can be a bit hard because it's a weekly update and I have to spend my Sundays doing it. But I'll do my best. And lastly, before I let you go, I want to show you a video one of our members did. It seems like I'm not the only one doing video editing in the corporation.